Hey my creators, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Christi and this is Christi Creates. And if you're not new, welcome back. Today is the Chic for Cheap craft challenge, and this is where we try to take something that we've seen online at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, Kirkland's, like you name it, Pottery Barn, wherever, and you really like it and you would like one for your home, but you don't want to pay that expensive price tag. So you create it for cheaper than you found it, and you let us know how much the original piece was and how much you were able to make it for. So today I'm starting my intro after I've already made my pieces and they're behind me. So I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little candle stands and this cute shelf right here for much less than the original price was of the ones that I found online and in stores. So let's get started. Here's the first project we're going to make. It's these adorable candle holders, which were $118 for the set. I am not about to pay that much for candle holders. We're going to make them, but without the glass vases on top. You could add some from Dollar Tree, though. These were some super large wooden beads that I found at Hobby Lobby. This little cardboard set, and I'm just going to use the lids. And then those two plastic pieces were some that I had. I'm not even sure where I got them. And then some napkin rings from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to show you in just a minute how to cut those down. I'm also going to use a wood dowel and a couple of skewers just to help balance those beads on top of each other, and it gives them like some really good support on the inside. So here I am putting the dowel down through there, and it was a little bit loose, so I added a couple of skewers just to make it really tight so that it doesn't wiggle at all. That way it's going to be good and secure to hold up a candle if it's super heavy. Once I get those down in there, I'm going to cut off the end, and then I'm going to put just a little bit of hot glue kind of in each one just to hold it in place so that, like I said, it's not loosey-goosey at all. It's really good and stuck together. So here's where I'm putting the glue down in there, and then I'm going to cut them off. And then once I cut them off, it doesn't get super flush with the surface, so I do go ahead and sand those rough ends off. So you can do that if you want, or if it's easier for you to not do that. I mean, you don't have to. You could always use a little hacksaw to cut that off, and then it would be flush with the end anyways. I just didn't feel like getting the saw out, and you know I love my little nippers. So I take that off and sand it. Here I'm going to show you how to take those napkin rings from Dollar Tree and make them into smaller pieces. I did try to cut them with an X-Acto knife. That did not work. This was probably not the safest way to do this, but I had this little hot tool. I couldn't find the one that has the little knife on the end, but this one worked just fine. It just took a little bit of time. So I stuck the knife down in there and just kind of eased it along. And since it already has those little grooves in it, I just followed the groove, and it gave me a pretty even cut all the way around. I did go back and sand those down just a little bit because they did have some rough edges where the plastic had kind of melted weird. So you may have to do that. And I just used that fingernail file there. Now I'm taking all of my stuff and we're going to assemble it. I was going to use my E6000 quick hold, and as you will see here in just a second, I started to squirt it and it was very clumpy. And so I tried squeezing out, thinking, oh, I'll fix it. I'll squeeze out the clumpy part and then I'll use it. No, that did not work either. So I left that in here for your viewing pleasure. Not everything always goes as I plan it to. So I broke out the regular old E6000 and went ahead and used that. So I put it most of the way around just because I wanted that longevity in the hold, and the E6000 will give us that. But then I wanted that quick hold so it would, you know, start holding together right now while the E6000 dries, so I used the hot glue for that. I eyeballed this. You could also, you know, mark the center or whatever's easiest for you. It was pretty easy to get it centered though, since they're both a circle. So here I do go ahead and go back in with some of that E6000 kind of all the way around, and I make sure that I'm getting it on the plastic part and up on the napkin ring part, just so it kind of like locks it on there. I want these candlesticks to last a long time because I think they're really, really cute. So here I'm doing the same thing on the other one, and then I'm going to sit those to the side and let them dry for a while, because I want that E6000 to start setting up a little bit, just so it will hold those big wood beads on, because they are pretty heavy. And always make sure to put your cap back on your E6000 because it will ooze out on you. Don't ask me how I know. Now I'm going to take the tops to our candlesticks and I'm going to do the same thing. Go in with part of our E6000, part hot glue, stick it down. And on this one, since that candle holder part is like a cardboard material, instead of going back in with the E6000, I went back in, as you can see here, with a ton of hot glue, and it stuck really, really well, since that cardboard kind of takes to the hot glue just a little bit better. Now again, once, like I said before, once I was done doing that, I set these to the side and I let them dry for quite a while I worked on some other stuff, and then I came back to it, and by then they were kind of set up and they held on a lot better. So here I'm going in with a little bit of my E6000 and I'm just putting a little bit in the center, but then I'm going to really slather on the hot glue. I'm putting a huge mound of hot glue. I want it to stick to that whole underside of that wood bead and really grab onto it so that these are not going to come apart. You're going to continue on and do just like you did there on all 4 spots. So on the bottom and the top of both sets of beads. And I do the same way on all of them. I put just a little bit of the E6000 in the center, then I put a whole bunch of hot glue in the middle, and then I flip it over and do it again. Now I'm going to take some of my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and you could do this in any color that you wanted, whatever matched your decor better. I paint the entire piece, even the black pieces, because they were shiny black and I wanted them to be matte black just like the rest of the piece will be. Make sure that you get in all of the cracks and crevices, all around the beads, all around that little silver part, and even in where your candle holder dish, I guess you would call it, the part on the top that your candle will sit down in. You want to cover the entire thing, and that way it looks super high end because it all matches. And these turned out really, really cute. I was really, really pleased with these. These will definitely be something that I continue to use in my home. I just think they're a really adorable little piece. You can put a candle on the top, but you can also put, you know, like a small little velvet pumpkin or an air plant up there, and it still looks adorable no matter which way you do it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Did you like this one? Here's a photo of our beautiful co-host for this month. I wanted to pop in real quick and tell you today's co-host is Angie from the Redheaded Scrapper. She does adorable DIYs, you guys. She is like crazy creative. So I wanted to make sure that you guys you know, got her as one of my co-hosts because like I said, she's crazy creative. So I love seeing what this lady comes up with, because some of these things I'm like, where did you come up with that? For real. So, and if you didn't know, Angie does a lot of DIYs on her channel, but she is also an amazing scrapbooker. So if you're interested in scrapbooking, make sure in her video or in this one down in the comments that you leave her a message that says, show us some more scrapbooking, girl. I've tried to tell her, but she ain't listening. Angie, thank you so much. Air hug. That's a COVID hug. Thank you so much for being my co-host. It really means the world to me. So can't wait to see what you created. The co-host for October is going to be the beautiful and talented Indie Annie Jones. Don't forget to join us. Brain fart. Yeah. Dance break. I can't dance, so let's not do that. I found this cute little shelf at Hobby Lobby. It was $29.99 and we are going to recreate it. I do make it just a little bit larger. I found this pre-cut piece of wood at Lowe's. It was like $1.75. It was super smooth. I didn't have to sand it. Super easy to drill into. So I'm going to drill a hole in each of the 4 corners, and that's kind of personal preference how far out on the edges you want it. And then I'm going to give it a coat of black chalk paint on all sides, so top, bottom, and all of the edges, because it will be hanging on the wall and you will see all of the sides. Then at Hobby Lobby the other day, I found these wood bead garlands, and they were $8.99, and they were, I believe, 40% off, so they were like $5.40, I believe, after you took the sale price off. And so really you can't really get wood beads much cheaper than that, even on Amazon in bulk. So I went ahead and picked up quite a few of them just so I would have some extra beads. They were already stained and ready to go. So I'm actually going to restring them on my own jute, because my jute was just a little bit thicker, so I thought it would give a little bit more strength to our shelf. And I'm going to do 22 beads on each of the 4 corners. So you're going to have 4 different strands, and I did 22 beads on each strand. The one at Hobby Lobby only had 20 beads each, so if you did that just like theirs, you would only need 1 strand of the beads from Hobby Lobby. Like I said, I had bought more, so I went ahead and used 22 just because that was kind of personal preference. I wanted the edges to be just a little bit longer than the one that they had. Mainly because I had used a longer board than they had used, so I needed just a little bit more length. Now I'm going to put my jute through the hole that I made, and I'm going to tie a knot about 5 different times, just till it's thick enough that it's not going to pull back through that hole. And then I also kind of support it with just a little bit of hot glue, so I put just a little bit of hot glue there, and then push that knot back up against the wood, just so it's kind of, you know, a little bit extra support, a little bit of extra lockdown, if you will, because I always would rather be safe than sorry. I definitely don't want this falling off the wall and conking someone in the head. I am going to be putting this in my son's bathroom. It doesn't have anything above the toilet, and I think this will be the perfect little addition. So here I'm trying to decide if I want to tie a knot on the other side of the wood, and I decide to, and that way it's, like I said, it's just kind of extra precaution, making sure that it's not going to wiggle around a lot. So I tied a couple of knots there, and then I tied a knot at the end of the wood beads, and that way they're just kind of, like I said, extra locked on there. So I'm going to tie that knot just a couple of times, and then I'm going to move on to my next one, and I'm going to do this to all 4 corners. Once we get all 4 corners done, then we are going to tie them together in the center and that is if you want a little bit of extra length to make it longer, you just tie the knot whatever kind of makes your eyes happy on the length of it. I tied my knot right at the top of the beads, and then I also went back and made a little loop and then tied another knot, and that way I had a loop that it's hanging from. So you will be able to see the loop in the photos that I show here. And mine cost me less than $5. Well, no, I say less than $5. I used one whole string of beads, so it was about $7 to make mine compared to the $29.99 that was the one at Hobby Lobby. So let me know what you think. Do you guys like it? I think it's so cute, so simple. A little farmhouse, a little boho. Like, I think it's adorable, and literally took me less than an hour to make, and that was even waiting for the paint to dry. Here are both of the projects together. Guys, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think of it. And seriously, thank you so much for stopping by and watching every time I post a video. Yeah. It means the world to me, for real. You guys are the bomb.
Oh my gosh, when our dad called us, or called me, I guess.
Before you guys leave, make sure that down below you give me a thumbs up and you leave me a comment, because I want to know, do you love DIYs like I created today, or is there something else you would like to see me do? So I'm fixing to start my little farmhouse fancy series, and I cannot wait because your girl loves some sparkle. So we're gonna sparkle up a lot of this farmhouse DIYs that I make, and I've already got some really cute ideas to show you guys, and I cannot wait. Literally in the next, probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, I will roll out a couple of these ideas that I've never seen anyone do, and I am so excited about them. So make sure your notifications are on, because I don't want you to miss it. I want to thank you guys for stopping by today and hanging out with me, and all of your love that you send me every time I post a video. It means the world to me. I have seriously felt so blessed. I know, I don't want to cry. Over the last month, with all of the sweet comments and messages you guys have sent me. We're not gonna cry. From the passing of my grandma. It truly meant the world to me. So just know, every one of them were read. Every one of them, like, literally have a special place in my heart. Because that was one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through. And you guys helped me get through it. So thank you guys dearly. I love each and every one of you guys, and I mean that. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I can't wait to see you next time. So make sure you come back.